Viewer, I Watch Stuff 6 suggested that I check the value of the cathode resistor in this amp because they changed it from 220R on the early ones, which this one was, to 510R, which is 510 ohms, 220 ohms to 510 ohms. And I Watch Stuff 6, I don't know your real name, sorry, said that probably is why the tubes died. The early ones had a problem. And which leaves me in the lame position of saying, well, I was totally going to check that, but he suggested it, so I've got to. I did not know that they had changed it to 510. So I took out that, I measured the bias with the 220, and with 120 volts coming out of the wall, assuming 5% of the current measured is going to the screen, that left a plate idle dissipation of 15.44 watts per tube. A 6v6 is usually a 12-watt tube. So yeah, I think he was absolutely right. That would certainly hasten the decline of almost any 6v6, aside from the JJ, which can handle 14 watts. I did not have a 510. I tried a 500, and with everything else the same, and a 500 ohm resistor, that sets the idle at 8.64 watts per tube, which will give you long tube life, but won't sound very good. That's not where you want a cathode biased amp to idle. This 300 ohm resistor that I have in here, with 120 volts coming out of the wall, puts us at 12.37 watts idle. And then, oh my, that's over 12 watts. It's just barely. Almost any 6v6 will handle that just fine. But given tube availability this week, and the fact that this is in a head, not a combo, so microphonics are not a concern, I went with the JJ 6v6S tubes for this, which are very rugged tubes, though they're prone to becoming microphonic in a combo with the vibration of the speaker. As I said, in a head, that won't matter. And they can handle 14 watts. So while I have this set, it could take pretty much any 6v6 on the market. It'll be even safer, if you want to think of it that way, with those JJs. Should give the best balance of long tube life and sound. I think the move from Egnater from 220 to 510 is a little bit cynical. That smells like an accountant put their fingers in the mix. This is where we want to be with all things else being equal. And you also don't want to cool the bias off too much on one of these, because as the bias goes down, the plate voltage goes up, and there's only a certain amount that 6v6s are happy with. There's also current considerations with a power transformer, but that's a deeper subject than we need to get into here. So I expect that once the new power tubes arrive for this, with a slightly cooled off bias, which is no longer insanely hot for 6v6s, the owner will be very happy for a very long time.